Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, what a time to be alive. It is the return of a home video here on the main channel. This has been a while, not since the days of FM19 has there been a home video here on the main channel. But here we have one. It's the review of our first season of the new Twitch save. If you haven't been watching this over on Twitch, twitch.tv/LOLLUJO, or the Twitch replays, which appear on my second channel here on YouTube, LOLLUJO 2. Links to both of these are down in the description. If you haven't been watching it, this will allow you to get fully up to speed with the save, so you can come over and join us and watch it live. As this video goes out, I am actually streaming this save on Twitch. I've just gone live like 30 seconds ago, so you can come and watch us do the aftermath of this, the transfer window and getting ready for season 2. But I just plan to do this at the end of each season, just give you a little bit of update here on this channel. If you haven't got time to watch along with the Twitch streams, I know Twitch streams can take a long time, stream replays can take a long time. It's not for everybody. So for those of you who just want to keep up to date with what Home are doing, at the end of every season I'm going to stick a video like this on this channel so you can see what's been going on. So as you can see, we have restarted back in tier 8 the way we did way back when, at the start of the save on FM19. The actual division itself has changed. It's the Bet Victor Division 1 Central. It's all been shuffled around and redesigned, and as you can see, we finished 4th. We did make it into the playoffs, and we did miss out to St Neots actually in the playoff final, which was played just last night as I'm recording this, and I'm still very sad about it. Not super sad, because we had some lovely moments on the way. We were a team that was only ever supposed to finish mid-table. We did have a little bit of a dodgy start. Money has been a huge issue here at home. As you can see, we're spending way over our wage budget. And it's not that I've gone completely crazy with transfers. Yes, we brought in a few players on free transfers, a few loans who we're not even paying any money to. Or one loan, in fact, Ryan Suckling, who we've not even really used very much, but we're not paying him any money. But we've brought in a few players on loans. We'll have a look at those in a second. We've lost some of our important players. So Harrison Aid was this year's Levi Potton, who would have been a star for us if he'd have stayed, but left before a ball was kicked and got 19 goals in the Vanarama North. But despite all of that, we were able to drag ourselves up to a 4th place finish and then have some playoff heroics as well, which if you follow me on Twitter, you'll have already seen the most heroic moment in the playoff heroics. I'm going to show you the goal again here. As you can see, this is the playoff semi-final at the Abbey Stadium in Cambridge. We're playing against Harlow, who finished 2nd in their equivalent tier 8 division. The playoffs down at this level are nuts. You basically have all the tier 8 leagues all get lumped into one massive super playoff that ends up having 5 finals. 5 teams go up through these playoffs. So we had to go through 3 rounds of playoffs. This is the semi-final against Harlow. We're 3-2 down at the end of extra time, 90 seconds of that extra time gone, and then we get a free kick. And our star of the season, we'll have a look at him in more detail in a second, Dan McBeam, went and scored the greatest goal in the history of Football Manager with the final kick of the game. Just wrap your face around this goal. So free kick comes in, it bobbles around a little bit, and McBeam, from the edge of the area with an overhead kick, hits it into the top corner, and that was the last kick of the match. That took us to penalties. It took 14 penalties, but we did actually make it through on penalties to a playoff final, which took place at London Road, the home ground of the team I support, Peterborough United. It was a dream location for a final, but we just didn't have enough about us to get past St Neots. They're a team who we'd struggled against all year. They very nearly went up as champions from our division. They beat us quite comfortably towards the end of the season, and we just didn't have enough oomph to get past them in the final. So it's going to be another year for us down in tier 8, which probably isn't going to be a disaster. We probably weren't ready to get promoted. You can see that's where St Neots beat us towards the end of the season as well. But I think if we have a good summer, which, like I say, that's going on Twitch right now if you're watching this video when it first comes out. If we can have a good summer, if we can keep our key players around, and really benefit from some of the youngsters we've got coming through, and maybe add a couple more decent players, I think we've got a good chance of maybe winning this division next year, because the 2 best teams in it are no longer in it anymore. St Neots and Halesowen both went up. We are the other team, and I'd like to think we've got a good chance of going up as champions next year. So we'll have a look at the transfers in and out. We'll have a look at who our star players were. We'll have a look at our team of the season and all that kind of stuff, and get some plans together for next year. So as with home on FM19, we ticked the little box to populate the team at the start, and that gives you a selection of players who are, although they're officially new gens, they're a little bit older. So like Aid, Charlie Rees was another one who left really early on. Peter Abraham left relatively early. I don't remember him. He obviously wasn't that good. Chris Long was our star centre-back. We certainly missed him when he left, leaving after only 13 games. And these two, not so much. He's gone out on loan, and Jurovic we never even used, so we don't miss him at all. But the players who came in, this is where the important stuff has gone. I'm not going to go through every single one of them, but we're going to pick out our stars. Terry has been a superb signing, and I think we're going to struggle to keep hold of him. You can see he's under offer from a couple of different teams now, but he was our very first signing. I couldn't say his surname. It's Terry Toyonashi Mupiwira. That's why we just call him Terry. But he's been a superstar for us all season. 7 goals, 5 assists. His average rating doesn't do him justice. He also scored a fantastic goal in that playoff semi-final, which I think it's only fair in the interest of trying to keep him at the club to show his goal as well, because it was just as important and just as good, but in a different way. So there's McBeam again chasing down. In fact, you don't get to see it. Terry started that move way back in his own half, lumped the ball out to the right-hand side for McBeam to chase, and then just ran and was there to get on the end of it. So Terry's a star, but I think we might be losing Terry. Charlie Busby's our goalkeeper. He's had a very solid season. I'd like to be able to keep him around next year. We shall have to see. Ryan Suckling we didn't really use. Dean Evans was our tough tackling central midfielder, who I kind of think we probably don't need now, because one of the youngsters who came through in our youth intake back in, I was going to say back in May, but it must have been back in March, because May hasn't happened yet. Cameron Drury, only 16 years old, already as good as Evans in central midfield, 5-star potential ability as well. He's a lad we're going to have for 2 years because he has that youth contract, and that's super important at this level. And he's one of many good young players that we've got knocking around. Signing of the season, though, has to be Dan McBeam. Still only 19 years old. I don't understand why he's not under offer from clubs already. 4.5-star current ability player, got 18 goals and 10 assists from 27 appearances, averaged to 7.51, can play on either wing. He has been a superstar, has now scored the greatest goal in the history of Football Manager, and if we manage to keep him for another year, that will be amazing. Josh Hessen came in at right back, scored plenty of goals for us. Most of them were penalties, but he's another one who we'll probably let go because of the emergence of another youngster. Martin Dickinson came in the March youth intake as well, 16 years old, 4-star current ability, 5-star potential ability. Another one who we're going to look to build the team around for next year because he's young, he's here for 2 years. These are the kind of players we didn't really get with Bourne this year for whatever reason, but Home just seems to have a knack of bringing these kind of players through. And then we've got the Hunchback, who the reason he's called the Hunchback because his name is Huntbatch. So how do you not call that man the Hunchback? But he came in when Long left, and or a couple of months after Long left, actually. That's the spell we were struggling without having a good centre-back. But the Hunchback came in, was a big difference maker, and he's very much a part of my plans as a centre-back. Looking at the rest of the youngsters that we've got knocking around in the squad, let's just get the full-on LOLLUJO view up and running, because we can sort this by ability and pick out most of these youngsters. We've already looked at Dickinson. We've got Nick Brodie, who was one of the ones who was here at the start, who he's got 1 more year on his youth contract. He hasn't played regularly because Jonathan Kiley has been in ahead of him, but I suspect Kiley will leave this summer. There's a lot of clubs in for Kiley, who's had a very creative season as our attacking midfielder. So the door is open for Nick Brodie to step in and be a regular start next year. Still played 38 games last year, but only 8 of them from the start. But Brodie will be our starting central attacking midfielder next season. We've got Gavin Jones, who is a young defender who we actually brought in from Gainsborough. We paying him decent money. He's on £130 per appearance. Another youngster who we're going to expect to get some performances out of. Carl Rushton, was our striker who was here from the start, scored lots of goals. I suspect he might be leaving because he's 24. There's not actually anyone in for him, but I'd be surprised if he was still here next season. We've already looked at Drury. And then the other early star who emerged, although he's well down this list of current ability, is Ed Goodge, who was our first goal scorer for home in FM20. Still only 16 years old, plays as an inside forward on this left-hand side. 5-star current ability, 34 games over the course of the season, just the 4 goals, 5 assists, but those 4 goals were all a bit special. And I would expect Ed Goodge to step up again and move up a level this season as we go into the new year. Goal scorer wise, Rushton comfortably the top scorer, McBeam and Goodge weighing in with their fair share of goals as well, and Terry from midfield plus Hessam from right back. If we were to lose Terry and Rushton and McBeam, there's a lot of goals that we're going to need to replace this summer, so we're going to need to keep our eyes open for any players who can fill that void, especially because if we sort by assists, and we know Kylie's probably leaving as well, and then McBeam, there's goals that need to be replaced, but because we're in tier 8 and we have no money, we can't offer anyone proper contracts. We've got the youngsters who are on their £5 a week 2-year deals. The 2 new ones have got their full 2 years. The rest of this lot have all got 1 year left, and all of these could just leave at any time. Best players: Dickinson, McBeam, Kylie, the Hunchback, Hesson. Best potential: Kylie's going to go on to great things, as is McBeam, Dickinson, Drury. It's the same names appearing at the top of that list every time. And I just hope that we can keep the core of that team together, add to it in the right way without completely ruining the club finances, which is easier said than done when we've not really gone nuts. But it's impossible to stick to that kind of budget. It's absolutely impossible. Hopefully the board, they're familiar faces, the board. Hopefully between the 4 of them, they can cover that little deficit for us. Otherwise, we're going to have a problem. But that is our first season of home in FM20. Like I say, transfer window is going on right now. If you don't get a chance to watch the stream live, the actual transfer stream will appear in its entirety on LOLLUJO 2 in a couple of days' time. So make sure you subscribe to that channel too if you're not already, and you can watch all the stream replays over there, or just wait a week, 10 days, and you'll get the season 2 season review, and you'll be able to see how we got on. If you've enjoyed this video and you want to see more of these kind of things, this is a little bit different, a little bit new. If you're not bothered, if no one watches it, I won't bother doing the season reviews, but I thought there's a lot of people who like home. You might want to see this. So if this is popular, let me know. Thumbs up so if you want to see this at the end of every season. If you're not that bothered, let me know down in the comments that you're not that bothered. But thought it was a nice thing to do, and plus, extra views and all that, always helpful in these difficult times. Subscribe to the channel for all of the other Football Manager stuff that's going on. Make sure you subscribe to the Twitch and the LOLLUJO 2 as well to keep up to date with this series. And thank you very much for watching.